Down by the riverside, on my road, down by the river. I ain't gonna study for no more. 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 Okay. One of the things that's been forgotten is we have nearly 10,000 young men in Afghanistan and Iraq still there, fighting what we call a war. I don't know what you call it, but they're forgotten. When's the last time you heard on the news one single word about a fighting man in Iraq and Afghanistan? We need to get our butts out of there and do something a little more constructive and get young men killed for no apparent reason other than to put money in people's pockets. But I don't care what you say, it's all about money. When it comes down to it, when it gets some money. That's why that man's at the man for. It's the money, man. Okay, one more time. I'm gonna lay down my baby. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, gonna lay down my baby. Down by the riverside, gonna lay down. Come on, I ain't gonna study for no more. 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 We gonna study. We gonna study. It's an old gospel song that came out of the Georgia Sea Islands and kind of adapted it. All you got to do is answer me when I say, ain't you got it right? And you say, ain't you got it right? Oh, ain't you got it right?
We stay locked up in lies all the time.
Ain't you got it right? To the tree of life. Let's try it one time. Ain't you got it right?
Take care of it. You do.
Oh, ain't you got it right? That's right, John, you're the only one. Ain't you got it right? To the tree of life. Well, you may be black, and you may be white, but all God's children got a right to the tree of life. Oh, ain't you got it right? Ain't you got it right? Oh, ain't you got it right? 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 To the tree of life. I'm gonna tell all my brothers. I'm gonna tell all my sisters. Oh, you all got a right to the tree of life. To the chorus. Oh, ain't you got it right? Oh, ain't you got it right? John, come here. John, ain't you got it right? How sorry you've been. just sitting there going, I like some people saying. Ain't you got it right? Ain't you got it right? Oh, ain't you got it right? Ain't you got it right? Ain't you got it right? To the tree of life. I'm gonna tell all my brothers, ain't you got it right? I'm gonna tell all my sisters, ain't you got it right? Ain't you got it right? Ain't you got it right? To the tree of life. You know this road is rocky, ain't you got it right? And it's narrow to gate, but we all got it right to make it someday. Oh, ain't you got it right? 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 To the tree of life. I'm gonna tell all my brothers. I'm gonna tell all my sisters. I'm gonna tell everybody here. To the tree of life. Ain't you got it right? Ain't you got it right? Oh, ain't you got it right? Ain't you got it right? To the tree of life. Oh, ain't you got it right?
Got one
To
already.
the tree of
Picked it up at St. Paul. Remind me to get you one of mine.
We're going to sing some old, we're going to sing a couple of tunes. I was very lucky to know people down in Highlander who wrote this song. It's been sung all over the world in every kind of situation, but it's still a very good song.
Hey, how you doing? Come on now, one more time. We shall overcome. Sing this
of D.C. We shall overcome. Let them know in Wise County. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Good for you. Lynette and Josie, come on.
Stand up. It's my pleasure to welcome you here today, and there are so many people to thank for this wonderful day. And Ron, we appreciate you coming and sharing your talents and bringing your friends in, and we appreciate your PA system. We've been out here yelling at this huge crowd. I wish everybody could come up here and look back over this beautiful crowd. I'm Carolyn Maxwell, and I'm representing a wonderful, wonderful group of volunteers, the Wise County Flack for Congress Committee, and without them, it wouldn't have happened without our Lee County friends and their friends. Without our Scott County friends, the Scott County and I can't tell you how many people let me know they wanted to be here today, but they're off at the sales tax, for the last weekend before school, all that sort of stuff, on vacation, getting that last vacation. But it looks like a packed house right here.
Yeah.
We have plenty of food. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome back to Norton and Wise County and the coal fields our friend, always our friend, still our friend, our good Congressman Rick Boucher. About Rick, you all know what an effective congressman he was for us, how he he was a representative with such great dignity, such great intellect, and such great compassion and caring for people. So we could go on and on, but let me present to you.
Thank you. Marilyn, thank you so much for those kind words. And, you know, I haven't seen Marilyn in, I guess, 8 years, but it just seems like yesterday. And so many people in this room I haven't connected with in so long either. And I want to say thank you for coming out today and supporting Anthony. It's just great to see you. Anthony brought me out of political retirement to campaign for him. And as soon as we get him elected in November, I'm going back into political retirement again. But in the meantime, I'm going to do what I can to help. And I want to say a little bit about why I'm doing this. I think he's a terrific candidate.
Yeah.
And I know he will do a great job for Norton, for Wise County, for Scott County, for all of Southwest Virginia when we elect him our congressman. I know that he's going to do that. I've known Anthony for 30 years, and we've worked together that entire length of time. I have great respect for him because he is a creative thinker. He comes up with these great ideas, and then he has the know-how and the energy to be able to put those good ideas into practice. And time and again, I have seen him be successful at helping other people. One of the things that impressed me the most early on was that he had the idea for helping farmers find new ways that they could market their goods, their crops, and achieve new income streams. He did that by creating a farmer's market in Washington County. And that farmer's market gave farmers an outlet to sell things directly to the public that they didn't have before. And as a result of that, lots of farmers could make the transition from growing tobacco or find a new way to add income even while they continued their regular farming activities, and it made a world of difference for them. It made a world of difference for the consumers who shopped at the market and had access to locally grown fruits and vegetables, which you couldn't really find in the supermarket. So it was just a great thing all the way around. Anthony created the one in Washington County, and it's grown year by year. And the idea for that, which sprang from the one he set up in Washington County, has now been copied in so many places across Southwest Virginia. We have farmers markets in many of our communities and a growing number every year. People don't know this, but they can thank Anthony Flaccavento for that. It was his idea at the outset. That's the kind of creative thinking and know-how to get things done that impressed me so much starting about 30 years ago. We worked together when I was in Congress, and he was embarking on a project for low-income housing. And as a result of that, hundreds of new houses for low-income people were built. Creative thinking, energy, and the know-how to put it all into practice. Well, that's what we have waiting in store for us. And we sure need the help. When I was in Congress, one of my major areas of focus was to try to get the federal funding that is absolutely essential for us to build the foundation for economic growth. Water systems, wastewater systems, the broadband high-speed internet access that enables businesses to succeed from virtually any location. And you know, we don't have the money locally to do these things on our own. And so they're not going to happen if the federal government doesn't lend a hand and invest. And my staff and I spent every day during the 28 years it was my privilege to serve in Congress, working to get the resources to build that public infrastructure. And once we had it, we could then go out and reach out to industry and bring companies here and say to them, look what we have. We have everything you need to locate and create a business. That's the work we did in our office. That is the kind of work you can expect from Anthony Flaccavento. He's terrific. I've never seen anybody work harder in a campaign. He announced his candidacy for Congress in November of last year. And since that time, now about 9 months, he has conducted more than 70, that's 7 with a 0, 70 public town meetings across Southwest Virginia. Now we've got 27 counties and cities in the 9th District, so that means he's been to every one more than twice in the last 9 months. Wow. And this is not just to stop in to shake a few hands and move on. This is, you know, these are sessions that go on for hours, every one of them. People attend, they talk about what local needs are. There's an interchange, questions and answers, where the information is really put on the table. And Anthony is learning from every one of these visits what is needed locality by locality across the 9th District. That's the kind of information that will enable him to be a terrific congressman when he goes to Washington this coming January, because he can put that knowledge to work. He can bring the resources that those communities need and address their problems very specifically. Wow, what great work. What great energy. I wish I had half the energy he's got. You know, he's up every day working. It seems like it's 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. I thought we worked hard, but you know, this is really fabulous. I could talk for a long time. I could talk about how much we really need all this help. You know that as well as I do. It doesn't necessarily need repeating. What I will say is this. I have great confidence in Anthony Flaccavento. It is a winnable race. This race absolutely can be won. A lot of people walk up to me on the street and say, well, you know, I met your candidate. He's a really nice guy. And boy, he sure seems smart. But do you think he can win? You know, it's such a challenge. And my answer is yes. Yes. He absolutely can. All you have to do is look at the energy of this room today if you doubt that this race can be won. But I'll tell you this, you know, candidates don't talk about their polling very much, mainly because you don't want to let the other side know how well you're doing sometimes. But I'm going to tell you one sort of figure. I'm going to give you a kind of a ballpark on this because it's compelling. When Anthony ran in 2012 and did his polling, frankly, the numbers never looked very impressive. You know, he was always substantially behind. Well, that was 2012. This is 2018. And now, 70 public town meetings later, and thousands of miles spent crisscrossing the 9th District, Anthony in June did another poll. And that poll, conducted 2 months ago, says that this race is within single digits. Single digits. And here is the man who's going to win it, our Democratic nominee for Congress, Anthony Flaccavento.
Thank you all for coming out. Wow, what a great crowd. Thanks so much to Marilyn and all the people in her group, to all the folks from Scott County and Lee County. We've got some dynamo core groups that have been working on behalf of the campaign for months now, and that's why we're here in large numbers. That's why we've been able to do upwards of 70 town halls. it's because of the volunteer group we have. And I'm just thrilled to be here. And I got to say, it's kind of it's a real benchmark in one's life to have Rick Boucher as your warm-up act. I just want to say one more time how proud and how pleased I am to have Rick working on my behalf. I mean, no single thing could be more important to my chances of success than for people in Wise County and throughout Southwest Virginia to know that he is fully behind me. No single thing, because of what a fine and outstanding congressman he was. Thank you. Also to Ron for the terrific music. I'm sorry we were too busy chatting to pay enough attention, but we were wonderful. So as the song said, I do believe that we can overcome. And I want to start with just asking a few questions. I'm just going to throw some questions out to you. The first one is, do you think 70 town halls is better than 0? Represent your constituents, you need to show up and talk with them. Do you think that the person whose salary we pay ought to be working every day to bring prosperity, to improve the lives of people in the district, instead of being caught up in irrelevant and negative ideological things in Washington? Do you think that the high and mighty and the rich and powerful have enough friends and we ought to have a working person representing working people? So this is what I want to do. That's what it comes down to. I never saw myself in politics. All those years that during the time that I was getting to know Congressman Boucher and his amazing staff people, Becky Coleman, Linda DiOrio, and several others, I always saw myself as an outsider who would try to work with the system to make improvements, to make things happen. And we were lucky for all those years to have a representative on the inside who had the same vision. That it was critical that your representative, that the political process worked with and for local communities to improve our lives. Because fundamentally, that's what I believe. I believe it's an essential role of the federal government to help communities help themselves, to help us build our own prosperity. When you have an absentee congressman who spends more time defending the insane actions and tweets of our president than he does showing up and working with the people who are forging solutions to our most difficult problems, then you've got a truly disconnected government. And then it becomes no wonder. It's no wonder that so many people sit on their hands instead of voting. It's no wonder that so many fine young people, college students and millennials, have given up on the political process. I'll tell you what, I want to change that, but I don't blame them one bit. Because if you're 18 or 20 or 25, the politics you've grown up on has been a politics that has not worked for you, that has been caught up in foolish conversation, and that seems to be completely irrelevant to your life. So I don't blame them. What our job is, with millennials, with all of our friends and neighbors that are sitting on their hands at home, and even with some of our independent and moderate Republican friends, is to persuade them once again that the government is really and truly for and by the people, and that we together can make that happen by returning a representative to Congress who's going to fight every day for people. That's basically what I'm going to wrap it up here because I really just want to get out and chat with you all. I want to have another ham biscuit, and I haven't had a brownie yet, so I got to get told that. But just a few more comments. So as Congressman Boucher said, we really have a winnable race, and I will be honest with you. I didn't enter this race until I talked actually to a few of you in this room and several other people, because when I ran 6 years ago, I knew I couldn't win. And I had a conversation with Rick, and he told me, you can't win. He was very honest, but he was very also encouraging to get the wheels turning on that. And that's what happened in 2012. Well, before I threw my hat in the ring this time, I talked to a lot more people, I thought about it for a lot longer, and I had a number of conversations with Congressman Boucher. And I decided I was not going to go through this again, because it ain't an easy thing to do unless I had a really good chance of winning. And what I've discovered in these first 9 or so months is that the people of the 9th District, all over the 9th District, are seriously ready for change. And not just ready for change in the sense of, I hope somebody else brings it. They're ready to be part of the change. You're ready to be part of that change. These town halls, we have, I counted about 100 people here today. We had 50 people at our town hall in Grundy this past Tuesday, an energetic group of people. We had 85 in Salem a few days before that. In between those two, we had over 130 people turn out to a town hall at the brewery in Galax. We have people all over this district who are not just ready for change, they're ready to work for change. And I hope that's true of every one of you here. I know that many of you here are already working with our campaign. You're contributing, you're knocking on doors, you're wearing t-shirts, you're passing out yard signs, and you're beginning to do the real core work of the canvassing and the phone call. And I'll say to those of you that have met me for the first time today, if you're not already engaged, we need you. It's a winnable race, and it's only a winnable race if every one of us goes to work. So we really, really need you to do that. And with me here today is my Deputy Campaign Manager, Susan Stansel. Right here, we have a terrific staff. Susan is part of a lean and mean, but terrific staff that's working with all of our local core groups and the Democratic committees, and we need every one of you on board. So I'll just close up with just a couple of other comments, and again, most of all, I just want to say thanks. This really gives you some heart, because you do have you do have up moments and down moments in a campaign, and I want to share with you a couple of moments and then close up. So again, a lot of people that I know, especially folks more on, let's say around Virginia Tech and Blacksburg, who don't often make it to places like Lee County and Wise County. Some of those folks, unfortunately, our Democratic friends, kind of tend to think that, well, we're a lost cause down here. And I tell them all the time, you need to come to Norton, you need to come to Grundy, you need to come to Clintwood. It is not a lost cause. There are people fired up and they're willing to work. And one great example of this that I've often shared up there was just a couple of weeks after the primary. I had worked something like, I don't know, maybe 180 straight days or something. I decided I was giving myself the morning off. And so I went to a friend of a friend's house. There were some down trees, and I spent the morning cutting firewood, and it was one of the greatest pleasures I've had in the last year. And I was out there cutting firewood, and this young man came out. I'd say he was 30-something, and he kind of looked me over, and I was kind of looking him over, and I just started chatting with him, and he said, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a farmer, and I got a small business. I said, right now I'm running for Congress. And he looked at me, he said, are you that Flaccavento fellow? I said, yeah. He said, well, I've been wondering who you are, because me and my friends, that name, that's not a common name in these parts, and we were wondering exactly where you were from. So anyway, we spent the rest of the time, actually he was standing and talking, I was throwing logs into my pickup truck, but in any event, we were talking for about 10 minutes. And I'll tell you what, I wish I could have filmed that conversation, because I don't know anything about his education level. He's a big old fella. He was chewing tobacco. We were out there cutting firewood together. And he started talking about his daughter. Said he had a 16-year-old daughter, and that he was hammering away at her every day to make sure she continued to get good grades, get out of school, get to college, and get a skill. And here's what he said to me. He said, because I tell my daughter all the time that she's got to get a trade, she's got to get a good job, otherwise she'll live under the thumb of a man. What about that, huh? What about that? And I wanted to take that whole conversation and take it to every liberal part of our district and the rest of Virginia and everywhere else and say, can we please stop selling short the working people of Southwest Virginia? So again, I am so pleased to be here with you all. Don't ever forget, just don't ever forget something I say all the time. The economy is not for Wall Street, it's for us. And politics is not for the donors and the lobbyists, it's for us. And if we can send a working person to Congress, we can actually get some work done for working people. Thank you all so very much.